Well, being in a foster home and or growing up seeing it, what was it something you end up watching that you could relate to? I know you said it wasn't much, but what did you end up watching that helped you get through
Okay,
the hard
so
times?
when I was in foster care, I loved BET, like all things BET. There was also another show, and for some reason it's like at the tip of my tongue. You know, the show, I think it was on BET. It was like a group of young people that talked about real talk. What was that show?
I think I know what you're talking about.
Was it Straight Talk or like?
Something along the lines.
Oh my God, yeah, it was like, but it was like, to me, it was like one of the realest things on TV. And it was just literally young people just talking about relative things that were going on in their communities and like around the world. And that to me was just amazing. So I would like journal in my composition book while I was in this room, because I would go to school and I would come back, you know, to the place I was living in. And I don't know, sometimes I felt like it was like I don't like to say anything negative about people in situations, but I kind of sort of felt like I was trapped. So I would write in this composition book all of these ideas, and that was one of the things that inspired me to have a teen talk show. And I felt like the voice of young people needed to be heard. I felt like, why is there just one platform? You know, you have all of these, you know, talk shows like Ricky Lake was big back then, and Maury was big, and Oprah was out, but I just felt like, who is capturing the young urban voice? I thought BET was doing a great job of it, you know, back then, but I don't know, like, I'm a foster kid, I'm living in the hood, like, who's capturing my voice? So that's where it came from, and I was going through a lot of things, and I wasn't proud of who I was, and I was ashamed, so I didn't want anybody to know I was a foster kid. I would go to school and I would make up stories about me living with my with my dad and my stepmom, because being a foster kid was such a negative thing, and you know, I didn't have anybody positive to look up to, anybody that went to college before. Like, I was the first in my family to graduate from high school and go to college, you know, so like, it was like, who do I look up to? Like, there weren't people that were successful that I had any type of connection to. So, and then being, you know, born from a schizophrenic white mother and a father who just couldn't get it together. You know, they loved us, but my mother dropped out of middle school when she was 13. My father, you know, I mean, I've heard stories, but I really don't know a whole lot about his background, but I don't know, I guess I just knew that this just couldn't be it to life. I knew like there had to be more, and I didn't want to just watch a television to see it. I felt like if they could create it, why couldn't I?
So when did you embrace the fact that you were a foster kid? You said that I hid it. So when did you been like, this is who I am?
Well, there's something amazing about going off to college. I went off to college a month after I turned 18. I went to the University of Central Florida in Orlando, and when I got there, I was a freshman, and I didn't know anything about Greek life. And I saw the AKAs and the Deltas, and I had friends in all those organizations, and there was this group of women that were wearing blue and white, and their name was Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. And my interaction with them while I was joining the organization, they asked me, they said, what is the hardest thing that you've ever been through? And the first thing I thought of was being a foster kid and everything that I went through. And in that moment, for the very first time, I just started crying because nobody had ever asked me that before. And those women helped me deal with that, because I had never dealt with it before, because all through even my senior year, the whole 4 years, I had that story that I could fall back on. And when counselors would show up in the office, I would look around and make sure nobody was in there that would know my secret. So it was the very first semester of my sophomore year when I met these women, and they helped me come to grips that it's okay. You know, just because I had a hard upbringing, it didn't dictate that that was where I was gonna be, that didn't dictate my future. So having that conversation and meeting those women and joining that phenomenal organization is what helped me realize that it's okay. And after I got past that and I had these women around me that supported me, I got to a place while I was in college where I was writing spoken word and I was expressing that in my spoken word. And then I was also doing motivational speaking. Like when I was in college, I was doing motivational speaking at like foster homes. And it's like, wow, like when I shared my story and these kids could relate to me, it was therapeutic for me, but it was also therapeutic for them. You know, and then just I kept sharing it and sharing it to the point where now, like, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to change the narrative for foster kids. And I guess we'll talk about that a little later, but like I get it now.
No, it's extremely deep. It's like looking at your pain and using it to help others escape theirs.
It's one of the most phenomenal experiences or feelings that anybody, I think, can ever truly feel if they understand how powerful it is.
Coming from those settings, why and how do you remain positive? Because obviously on a platform, a negative story gets told 10 times, a positive story gets told 3 times. So
yeah.
Why not change the title to something negative to get more hits on your platform?
Okay, so we're talking about my platform or my life?
Website platform.
Okay, my platform. Okay, so going back to Sweet Candor TV, you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. It's been an interesting experience, and I've learned so much about marketing. I've studied everybody that's already out there, and what I've realized is that you can be completely raw and bring people in and you can still put out your positive messaging. Because you have to like the positive. Some positive titles will capture people's attention, but sometimes you do have to twist it a little bit and you have to reel them in. So it's so important that you understand your audience because every platform still has a different audience that they serve. So I believe that through knowing your audience, like if I can sit down and I can break down who the girl is that comes to Sweet Candor TV and checks out our content, or who the guy is, who who is he to a T? His name is John, you know, or maybe his name is Larry, and he is 23 years old, and he likes to listen to da-da-da-da-da, he likes to listen to this person. Wouldn't it make sense for me to do research on this person and find out what this positive, what he's doing that's positive for the community? Like, I think it's so important to understand your audience to a T and speak directly to them, especially when it comes to content. And I think that's what makes all of these individual platforms so successful, because they know how to do that.
Thank you for watching A Wise Way. Subscribe to stay updated, share to pass the knowledge, or view our other videos on the left.